Okay, hello all you people out there, this is Michael, the 2.5 Stooges, and this is something, so far, that I haven't done on YouTube yet for this specific channel of 2.5 Stooges. So, Game Maker programming thing, this is in response to a very interesting question I saw on a certain Wizardy forum, that I've been stalking for the past couple months. It's about, in a game, whoa, wrong key, when you would make your main character, which is the red thing on the screen here. Yes, it's a very realistic main character, I know, perfect Xbox One quality graphics and everything. So you walk up to a character, face them, and make them talk. And you can't do things like talk to them when you're facing the wrong direction, or when you're facing the wrong direction, or when you're too far away. And when you're talking to them, you can't move the character around or anything, but when you finish talking to them, you can move around freely again. So, as with a lot of things in programming, there's a ton of different ways to do this. I'm going to be here talking about the way I think I found that's the most efficient, and I use in pretty much every game that I've made in recent memory. So, starting from your basic MoveAround engine here, which is basically a copy and paste of what I had before. Move around, you can change direction and all that, but you can't talk to this. So, here I have two objects, the player and the NPC. Player is red, NPC is blue. They're perfectly as lazy as you can get sprites here, and you just need to be able to tell them apart in what direction they're facing pretty much. My room, I have one room down here, it's already open, and it's also about as basic as you can get. So, first thing, I suppose, as I said a minute ago, there's a lot of ways you can do this. You need to be able to tell when you hit the spacebar that the NPC should say something. So, how do you do that? How do you tell the NPC that, when something is true, do something, and when something else is true, do something else? Well, what I like to do, in the create event, give them a little variable, draw text or something like that, or just draw, because I'm lazy, and set it equal to false. Because what this is going to do in the draw event is, if draw equals true, I suppose I should write that out for the sake of being, legible, even though I usually like to be lazy and only say if draw then something. That's another long story about shortcuts in programming. What is it? It is true. Then you need to do something, and if draw is false, actually should do that too, because GameMaker doesn't implicitly call draw self. If you have other code in the draw event, it's also something for another day. Anyway, getting off tangents, let's say draw the text box in which we shall set the color to white. Draw a rectangle. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to just be drawing it at a set place on the screen, but if you're using a big room with views that move around, you're going to be wanting to use the views, X view, and view, Y view, and all that fun stuff. But I'm assuming that if you know how to do that, then you already know this. So what's the coordinates that I used last time? 0, 400, 2, 640, 480, and that one is false. So that's the rectangle that I had before. Next, draw set color for the should be color black for the text, semicolon because I'm OCD. You could set a custom font and all that fun stuff if you want to, but I don't really have time. It's not necessary, but you can set your own fonts and stuff. And I think you have to do this or else you're going to get center text. Set the alignment, and lastly, you need text to draw. So, how do you tell GameMaker what text to draw on the screen at what position? And for the purposes of this video, I think it's my coordinates are 40, 420, and you need some text. All right, so you could give every NPC a set a string of characters to draw, like blah blah, most creative sentence ever, or you could tell every NPC to draw a specific variable of text. So I'm just going to call that text, because I can, because that's a perfectly legitimate variable name. And in the creation code of the NPC, and I need to be in the object dialog set creation code, haha, I'm going to set text to equal, this is a sentence, because I can spell, and I don't think that's how you spell sentence. I think it has an E. Yeah, I'm a computer science guy. I don't do spelling. What do you want? Leave me alone. So that's great. So here, if the variable draw is true, then you're going to be drawing the text box with a sentence. This is a sentence, or whatever else is contained in the variable text there, and that's fine. But so far, this the game can't tell the NPC when draw should be true. So when you hit, say, the space bar, which is I think the most common button to use on a keyboard, or I don't know, enter, or the F2 key, or any key that you want, you can set it through the key press event or in code or whatever you want to do. We're just going to set draw equals true. Okay, fair enough. Let's run the game, see what happens. And when I hit space, draw is true, and this is a sentence shows up on the screen. However, I can still move around. When I hit space again, it doesn't go away. What to address first? So I think I'll address the text box not going away first, because why not? Now, if you wanted to, you could say if draw equals false equals. It's not technically incorrect in GameMaker, but it's good practice. Then draw equals true, else draw equals false. You could, and I usually do this, just set draw equals to the opposite of draw, because that's the way the logic flows, but because that's probably going to confuse people, unless you're a super nerd like I am, I'm just going to go with that. So let's see what happens now. Okay, so I hit the spacebar, that pops up, I hit the spacebar again, that goes away. Alright, fantastic. Now, I can still walk around when that's on the screen. I don't necessarily have to be facing the NPC for that to show up. Okay, that's progress. Now, I guess I'll talk about how to freeze the character in place first. Now, as I've said like 30 times in this video already, maybe that's an exaggeration, there's a lot of ways to do this. My favorite way is to set a global variable. And I'll use the global var keyword instead of writing global dot object operator in front of the variable every time because I'm lazy. And I'm just going to call it free. You can call it like character can move or something like that, any legitimate variable name, and free is going to be equal to true. Now, that's great, so that doesn't do anything at the moment. So in the player's step event, where all this code is running, I am going to throw this in an if statement. That looks, that offends my OCD. And if free equals true, then this all happens. So this will only run. This will only run if the global variable free is equal to true, which so far is all the time. So as you can see, if I run the game, if F5 and run the game, that won't change anything at all. So what you have to do to make this work is in key press space. Hooray for rough cuts. Yeah, I kind of got interrupted. Anyway, so what I was saying, so far the variable free doesn't actually do anything. Your character can move around if it's true and can't move around if it's false. That's fine. However, it's not being set to false or true at any point in the game except when in the beginning when you're allowed to move around, of course. So what we want to do here is give these some curly braces because of syntax. And if you hit the spacebar, draw is false, and the text box is to show up, you want to make the character not able to move. I'm sure you can guess where this is going. Make that false. Otherwise, if the text box has showed up, you hit the spacebar and you want it to go away, and you want the character to be able to move again. Set that as true. So that should work, I think. Okay, this is a sentence, perfect. Hit the spacebar again, go away. And yeah, that's all fine and dandy. Now, you may notice that anytime I hit the spacebar still, I don't have to be pointing this thing, I don't have to be within reasonable range. That still shows up. Whoa. Yeah, I'm talking too fast, and that's not going very well for the elimination of coughing. So, where was I? Here. How to deal with this? So you only want the character to be able to, you only want the text box to show up, rather, if you're within a certain range. I guess I'll take care of that first. So if, quite easily, distance to object player is less than, say, 64 pixels, because that's a decent number. Yeah, I'll make 64 pixels, then run all this. Otherwise, do absolutely nothing. So, alright, indent that to make it more readable. And screw you. I misspelled something, I know. Yeah, there's a space there and it shouldn't be. Told you guys I can spell. So hit F5 again to run the game. And alright, so I'm too far away from this thing, and the text box isn't showing up. Now I'm closer, the text box does show up, perfect. So there's one more thing you need to do. It's kind of awkward if you're standing behind somebody, you talk to them, and the text doesn't show up. So you can make it so that instead of you have to be standing in front of the NPC, they turn towards you instead, which is actually what I do, but that's a little bit more in-depth, and I don't want to get into it right now. If people want me to, I'll make a separate video for that later. So, that's the wrong event. So in addition to, if distance to player is under a certain minimum, maximum, whatever the word is, you'll want the character to be facing. So you have this lovely thing called image angle. You could hard-code a different system for this if you want. It doesn't really matter. Depending on what else you do in your game, you might want to do that, but if you have no idea what I'm talking about, just bear with me here. So image angle. Now the way image angle works is, if you don't know already, it's just the direction that the sprite is pointing. So say if image angle is 0, then the sprite's going to be pointed, it's going to be rotated 0 degrees from where you see here. And if the image angle is 90 degrees, then it's going to be rotated 90 degrees to the counterclockwise direction. These arrows will be facing up. 180 degrees is left, and 270 is down. So that's simple enough. Game Maker is nice to us and makes that very easy for us. So, how do you know when the character is facing the NPC? Quite simply, the image angle of the player and of the NPC should be opposites. So, say character is facing 180, the NPC should be facing 0. So the NPC will be facing to the right, the character will be facing to the left, right? So that's fine. You can express that in English. You need to express that in a math expression for this to work in computers, however. So if you were to say write this down on paper, write a couple scribbles on paper, this isn't too difficult to figure out, but what you want to do is if let's see. Oh my god, interruptions. Anyway, image angle, what should it be equal? It should be equal to the player's image angle plus 180 to make it opposite, and I need double equals there. And then, since in some cases this expression may evaluate to be greater than 360, which your object's image angle will never be, so to get it between 0 and 360, you just need to do modulus 360. So that'll just make it so that if, say, player's image angle is 270, then adding 180 will make it, what's it, 450, I believe, something along that lines. I'll throw up an annotation on the screen if I'm wrong. So, taking the remainder of that divided by 360 will give you 90, which should be, if the character in the NPC is facing the right way, the value of image angle here. So, close that, hit F5, see if it... Bloody syntax. Yeah, I'm gonna go and turn syntax highlighting on. Where's syntax highlighting? Scripts and codes. Check code while typing. There we go. So yeah, where am I missing any parentheses? I believe I just need to. There. Moving on. All right. So where was I before? All right. Perfect. I'm facing you, and I can talk to you. I'm not facing you, and I can't talk to you. I'm not facing you in that direction. I can't talk to you. I'm not facing you in that direction. Great. I should probably be closer to you when I do that. Anyway, so that works perfectly. If you want to get really complicated like this, there's a lot of stuff you can do. A certain Pokemon game I have has a whole ton of scripts just related to character motion and stuff. You can have multiple lines of text using arrays and array indices and stuff like that. You can format your text boxes and make them all fancy. You can do all kinds of stuff. You can really do basically anything that you really want to if you put your mind to it. I'm not going to obviously write code for you to do exactly what you want. Programming is about finding stuff out for your own, so you have to do that on your own, so sorry. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. If you have anything else, any interesting concept that you want me to make, bother either me or Wizardy, and one of us will probably throw up a video about it, or one of the other floor mods, Conquer or Talon. I think Talon does YouTube stuff. But I've been talking here about complete nonsense for a long time. Hope you all enjoyed that. Rate, comment, subscribe, watch some other stuff I have uploaded, and I will see you later.